Hi. I recently attended a webinar that was held by my dear friend who's an excellent kinesiologist and naturopath. And I wanted to share some of the key takeaways with you that hopefully will be helpful to navigate you in this newly formed reality. First of all, she was talking about the fact that as human beings, we are designed to sustain a new situation for about 6 to 8 weeks. Due to our programming, we are encouraged to form a community and to find ways to feel togetherness. In the current isolated circumstances, it is hard to feel safe or part of a community. After about 8 weeks, the psychology started to change, and we start looking for ways to break out of this forced isolation. There are 3 key emotions that we're more likely to feel right now: fear, anxiety, and grief. Fear or loss of something or somebody will appear in the brain. The brain will connect it to death and grief. To feel connected to death is completely normal in such a situation because we start grieving over the past few years or lifetime that we've been through. Anxiety might bring about panic attacks, sweating, and anxious thoughts. It is really important to highlight that being present is key. However, the brain gets a little bit scared when we are working towards being present because it requires us to be responsible. And when we cannot take the responsibility, we're going into a denial mode. Those who are less conscious and their ego are more active, those people might shift their responsibility to others, like the government, the neighbor, or anything that they can name. Another thing that she highlighted was that during this challenging period, we must remember that each and every one of us has their own duty and responsibilities. So for example, if you are a mom, your biggest task is to be a mom and support your children and your partner. If you are owning your own business, your biggest responsibility and task is to keep your business afloat. If you are a frontline worker, your main duty is to do everything what you can to keep people alive and support them through their health issues. The important thing is that whatever situation you are in, you should not be feeling bad if you are just doing the bare minimum of what you're supposed to be doing. You don't need to all of a sudden become a perfect human machine that cooks, cleans, looking after the children, happy all the time, trains every day, and run a successful business. Remember that for the mind, this current situation is the same as if we were living in a war situation. My friend was joking about calling this period as a sofa war, but in reality, for the mind, it is the same threatening living in a war than being in such an uncertain situation. This next takeaway is mainly for parents. Every parent should talk to their children like they were adults. They might not understand every word that you are saying, but they do understand the vibration of your words. The best you can do is to explain to your children that sometimes, like now, we are experiencing situation that is unexpected, and sometimes no one knows what to do about it. All we have to do is just do our best. This current situation has completely knocked down our belief systems. Therefore, we have to decide what we are believing in, and we also have to decide who we are listening to. It is important to stick to these beliefs and these people because ultimately they're going to help us through. It is important to stick to these rules because ultimately they're going to help us restore our faith. At the beginning of the lockdown, I've decided that I use this time to work on my mindset and create an online hub where I can support each and every one of you. I disconnected from anything that would take my attention away. I even reduced the amount of time that I spend listening to the news. I wanted to create a sanctuary for my mental and physical state, as well as a sanctuary for people who are like-minded, as well as a sanctuary for like-minded people. It was interesting to hear and kind of reminder for us all that fear is a great thing to teach us when to fight and how to survive certain situations. However, if you are in a state of fear all the time, that can be damaging and limiting for the long run. The next thing that she was talking about is emotions. All our decisions are based on emotions. Our brain has reference to the majority of emotions that we have ever experienced. However, there is no relevance in the mind to any of the current experiences because we haven't experienced it yet. Therefore, the best thing to do is understand how we feel. Become aware of our feelings, thoughts is the key. Get to know ourselves and how we react and feel and why we react and feel in a certain way. What emotions are playing out in our bodies? Where do we feel it? How we can relate to it? She also highlighted, and I think it's a beautiful way of thinking of it, that we are so colorful. Our emotions is like a color palette. When it comes to emotions, instead of pushing them down and ignoring them, why don't we spend time on understanding them and playing with them? Every emotion is valid. And when we voice our emotions, we can bring them to light and understand how to deal with them. A simple daily exercise of taking some time to think of our emotions and how we are feeling right now can help create a more nourishing relationship with our emotions and our reactions. It can take about 2-3 weeks to really get to know why we are feeling how we are feeling. For example, if you're fearful, maybe it's a good practice to ask yourself, where do you feel your fear? What sort of emotions and situations it brings up in you? How can you change that? How can you work with that? When we are more aware of our emotions, we can start practicing more acceptance. Accept everything that you are thinking, everything that you are feeling, everything that you cannot control. Acceptance means that you are surrendering into the present moment. These are just some of the takeaways that we discussed on her webinar, and it was so useful. And she also highlighted how important it is to nourish our bodies. Simply taking the basic vitamins like vitamin C, vitamin D, natural sunlight, natural minerals and natural nutrients, micro and macronutrients, reducing sugar, because the more you can nourish your body, the more you can look after your mental health. My aim is to show you that there are different ways to cope in certain situations, and there's not a right or wrong way. It's just you have to understand your way. And I hope this video helped you just to do so. If you have any questions, drop me a note. I'm looking forward to speaking with you or seeing you at another video. Take care. Bye.